Weekly Forex analysis. We'll be looking at the Euro USD, the Pounds USD, USDJPY, Australia USD, Gold, US30, and BTC. We'll be breaking down the key level and the big move we are expecting on the Euro USD. So stick to the end of the video. So let's go straight to the chart. If you follow my analysis last week, I said I expect the Pounds USD to drop from this level to this next support level. Then if price fail to break this support level, might see price resuming back up. Then if price break below this level, might see further sell for the Pounds USD. So you can see that price tested this level and respect this particular support level, which now push price back to this next support resistance area. You can see that price has closed above this resistance now. So long price closed above this particular resistance now, this indication of buying momentum started to build up. So what do we expect this week on the Pounds USD? So long on the Pounds USD on the daily chart, so long we have this lower low, then we have a higher low, and this series of higher low, this is a strong bullish momentum building up for buying momentum on the Pounds USD. Then secondly, so long price has closed below this particular resistance level, converting this resistance to a support level. This is also a sign of bullish momentum for the Pounds USD to this next resistance level. So now we expect the Pounds USD, we expect a retest of price first before we start looking for our possible buying opportunity on the Pounds USD. We expect price to retest this zone, then we can start looking for buy to this next resistance on the Pounds USD. But we can't just make this decision by just jumping into this trade now. We need a proper confirmation of price if the price will continue to push higher to that resistance level. So let's look at the weekly chart to confirm this particular trade from. So on my weekly chart, you can clearly see that price has closed on the Pounds USD on this long-term support level, which is price has converted this previous resistance into a support level. So long price convert that particular level into a support level. So we expect price to continue to push higher. You can also see that price has also converted this particular support level into a resistance into a support level. So we expect price to continue to push higher. So let's look at the trend of the Pounds USD on the weekly time frame. So on my weekly time frame, you can clearly see that Pounds USD is currently on this range. So we need a break of this high for us to see a strong buy to this next resistance level. Then we need a break of this low for us to see strong sell opportunity. But our current scenario, so long price has converted these levels, which is this weekly support levels, which is this weekly resistance into a support level. We expect price to retest this level. Then we can start looking for further buy for Pounds USD to the upside, and a break of this resistance, we see expect more of buy to the top. So this week we're expecting more of the buying opportunity this week on the Pounds USD. So let's go to our daily chart. So on the daily chart now, our job now is to wait for price retesting of this particular support, then we can start looking for buy to this next resistance level on the Pounds USD. So let's look at our next pair, which is the Euro USD. So on my Euro USD chart on the daily chart, if you watched my previous analysis last week, I said I expect price to do a test of this support level, which is price to retest this level. A break of this level, I expect price to continue to push higher, push lower. But last week, price failed to break this support level, which so long price to fail to break this support level, might see price pushing back to the top. So you can see that price has pushed back to the top. Then you can also see that price also break this particular resistance level that is pushing price lower for 2 weeks now. You can see that price has closed above it now. So long price closed above this resistance level. This signifies we see expect more of the buying opportunity to the top on the Euro USD. So what are we expecting this week on the Euro USD? So this week, so long price break above this our daily resistance level, which is this resistance level. So we expect a retest of price, then we'll still further buy for euro to the top. So let's look at the trend of the euro on the daily chart. You can clearly see that we still have a series of higher low on the euro USD. But we can't just buy the euro now. We need price. We need to confirm the price from the higher time frame if we can buy the euro USD to the top. So let's go to the weekly time frame to confirm this particular trend on euro USD. So let's look at the trend of the euro USD on the weekly time frame. So on my weekly time frame, you can clearly see that we are still currently on a range on the euro USD. So we need a break of this range for us to look for further strong buying opportunity to the top. Then we need a break low, then we can start looking for strong sell to the top. But we also have an inner structure on euro USD on the weekly time frame. We have this inner structure, which is we have this lower low, we have this higher low, then we have this higher low. So this is a sign of inner structure bullish momentum building up for euro for price to move strongly to this next weekly resistance level. So long the weekly is already having a inner structure for buying momentum, our job is to look out for more of the buying opportunity this week on the euro USD. Then we can also see that price has converted this particular resistance level into a support level. Then price yesterday made a resistance level. We need a break of price above this high to also confirm this particular resistance as a support level. But price has converted this particular one. So we expect price to retest this particular level. Then we can start looking for buy to the next resistance on the weekly time frame. So we expect more buy this week on the euro USD. So let's go back to our daily time frame. So on our daily time frame now, our job now is to wait for price to test back to this support area before start looking for our buy to this next daily resistance level on the euro USD. So let's look at our next pair. Most traders are still finding it difficult to make money from this market. They are still losing their hard-earned money to this market. So if you are serious about your trading and you want to take your trading to the next level, you can book for my one-on-one mentorship, the link in description below, or you can get my video courses, the link also in description below, which is the dollar index. The dollar index I see that the dollar index on my daily chart have this downtrend. You can see we have this higher high, then we have a lower high, lower high, lower high, and a lower high. So long we have this downtrend momentum, we expect more of selling opportunity on the dollar index this week. And you can see that price has converted this particular support into a resistance level. So long price convert that support into a resistance level, we see expect price to continue to drop this week on the dollar index. So we expect price to retest this level, can start look at for sell, which is a break of this level will trigger strong momentum for the selling opportunity to the down. So we see expect a break of this level because we see have a support level that's not that clear yet. Once we see price break this support level, it will be a strong sell to this next support level on the dollar index. So let's confirm from the weekly time frame if price will continue to push lower on the dollar index. So on my weekly time frame, you can clearly see that price has converted this particular support into a resistance level, which shows that we are still expecting price to continue to push lower for the dollar index this week. So we expect more of the selling opportunity on the dollar index this week. So let's look at the structure of the dollar index. On my weekly chart, you can clearly see that we are still currently on price ranging on the weekly time frame. So we need a break below for us to see that major strong move of the dollar index. So let's go back to the daily time frame. So the daily time frame now on the dollar index, so long we see how does this bearish momentum, we expect price to continue to push lower for dollar index this week with our target at this next weekly support level. So let's look at our next pair. So let's look at our next pair, which is the Australia USD. Australia USD on my daily chart still remains strong bullish for buying opportunity this week. We can see we still have our lower low, and we have this higher low, then higher low, and higher low. So this series of higher low indicates strong bullish momentum building up for the Australia USD. So our job this week is to look for more of the buying opportunity on the Australia USD. So let's confirm this trend from the weekly time frame. So on my weekly time frame, we can clearly see that price is currently on a resistance and also a support level, which is we have the price on this particular resistance, which is this support, and here is also a resistance level. So we see expect price to buy to this strong resistance level on the Australia USD. So this week we expect more of price buying to this next resistance level. You can also see that on the Australia USD we also have this lower low and a series of higher low and higher low. So this is strong bullish momentum for the Australia USD on the weekly chart. So long we have this strong bullish momentum on the weekly chart on the Australia USD, our job is to keep buying more of the Australia USD. So we have to look out for more of the buying opportunity on the Australia USD to this next resistance level. So let's go back to our daily time frame to spot out the areas we are to buy the Australia USD from. So long the weekly is pointing strong bullish momentum. Now we clearly see that the weekly and the daily are all in line, telling us that price will continue to push higher for the Australia USD for buying opportunity. So what are we expecting for buying opportunity now? We need price to retest this particular, we need the price to retest this support level. Then we can start looking for buy to the top for the Australia USD. So long the weekly and the daily are in line, we expect more of the buying opportunity on the Australia USD this week. So let's look at our next pair, which is the USDJPY. USDJPY on my daily chart is currently pointing downtrend, where we have this higher high, then we have a lower high and a lower high. So long we have this series of lower highs, we expect price to drop back to this weekly support level. So we expect price to drop this week on the USDJPY. So let's look at the weekly time frame to confirm if price will continue to push lower on the USDJPY. So let's go to the weekly time frame. On my weekly time frame, we can clearly see that price currently still remain on a resistance level, which is price close on this resistance level. So long price close on that resistance level, we see expect price to drop back to this weekly support level, which is this weekly support level. So we see expect price to drop to this weekly support level on the weekly time frame. But we also have a support at this area also. We also have a support at this area. So if we can see price break that, which is this support level, this will be a good sign for more of the sell to the downside. So for now, we expect price to drop to this support level, and a break of this support level, we expect price to drop to this next support level on the USDJPY. So let's go back to our daily time frame. So on my daily time frame now, we can clearly see that we are currently on this daily resistance area. So we are expecting our sell from this resistance area for price to drop to this next weekly support area. So expect price to drop from this level to this weekly support level this coming week. So let's look at our next pair, which is the US30. US30 have strong bullish momentum for buying opportunity this week. We can clearly see that we still have lower low, then we have a higher low, then we have this higher low and higher low. So this is a sign of strong bullish momentum building up for the US30. So this is an indication that we're expecting more of the buying opportunity on the US30 this week. So long the US30 is pointing buy opportunity, so where will be our target for if we are buying the US30? So we are expecting price to move to this level on the US30, and a break of that resistance level might push price. A break of this resistance level might push price more higher for the US30 this week. So we're expecting buy on the US30 this week. So let's confirm from the weekly time frame. On my weekly time frame, you can also see that price is also pushing higher on the US30, which is we have this lower low and higher low. So this is an indication of more of the buying opportunity building up on the US30. So this week, you have to look out for more of buying opportunity on the US30 this week. So that is for the US30. Then let's look at gold USD. Gold on my daily time frame we still have this strong momentum for buying opportunity on the gold USD. We can see that price reacts to this my resistance level. Then we expect price to retest, then we can start see more further buy of price for gold USD to the top. We still expect more of the buying opportunity this week on the gold USD. So long we still have this bullish momentum, look out for your buying opportunity, but you can't just buy from now. We need a confirmation from the weekly time frame for us to buy the gold USD. So let's look at the weekly chart. On my weekly chart, we can clearly see that a new momentum for buying opportunity for trend is just started building up, which is we have this lower low and higher low. So long we have this lower low and higher low, this is a strong momentum building up for buying opportunity for the gold USD. So we expect price to buy to this resistance level, and the break of that resistance might push price to this next resistance level. Then the break of this level might push price to this next resistance level. So this week, our job is to look out for more of the buying opportunity on the gold USD this week. So long the weekly and the daily are pointing for buy. So our job is to look out for buying opportunity this week. So where are we buying from this week? We need a buy from this daily support area, which is where the price currently is. So we need to buy from this area this week. So we have to wait for price to retest inside this zone before we start looking for our buy to the top on the gold USD. So this week our job is to look out for more of the buying opportunity on the gold USD this week. So let's look at our next pair, which is our last pair, the BTC USD. If you have been following my analysis, you can see last week I said I expect price to continue to push higher on the BTC USD. So you can clearly see that price truly break above this level on the BTC USD. So what do we expect this week on BTC? We still expect price to continue to push higher, because you can see we still have series of higher low on the BTC. So long we still have this series of higher low on the BTC, look out for more of the buying opportunity on the BTC this week. So let's look at the weekly time frame on the BTC. On my weekly time frame, you can clearly see that price is currently on this weekly support level. So long price on that support level, we expect more of the buy for the BTC. Then you can also see that we still have this double bottom, which is we have this lower low and higher low. So we still expect price to continue to push higher this week on the BTC. So this week our first target will be this resistance, second target will be this resistance. So we have to look out for more of the buying opportunity on the BTC this week. So let's go back to our daily time frame. So we need a reversal of price back to this support area, then we can start looking for buy for the BTC to the top. So look out for your buying opportunity from that particular level on the BTC USD. We also have a Telegram group where we drop free signals weekly, and the accuracy of the signals are 85% accuracy. And we usually post our trade result and how we take the trade before and after. You can join the Telegram group where you take these free signals to also grow your account. They are all free. So get access to it by going to the description below and click the link to join the Telegram group now for the free signals where you can access them daily. I post free signals daily, so get access to it now. You can also watch my previous analysis at the top, where I break down what happened last week to take advantage of it, to learn from it.